Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Friday Criterium. The Primal Europe Friday Criterium. Racers are underway and they will be doing the mountain course today. I believe we are doing a half pretzel. I need to double check on that. I believe we're not doing the full on half pretzel. We're doing excuse me, sorry, just the Watopia mountain course. So looks like the riders are underway and we do have coverage, it looks like, of the A and the B, C, and D categories out on course. It is a mass start race though, so the riders did all get out on the course together, but we do have eyes on, we'll try and keep eyes on what looks to be around the front of the A's and B's kind of together, and then as well as the C's and the D categories. We do have for you as well an integration for the social medias as well as the Twitch feed, so I will be able to see your comments. If you have any questions or interaction, go ahead and bring it our way. If you'd like to tweet at us at Z Community Live is how you can do it. Love to see your in-home Zwift setups, any kind of comments or predictions about the race, bring them our way. So at the front of the race right now, we do have the front of the A's and the B's making their way underneath Ocean Boulevard, which they will be taking all the way into the left-hand turn up to the Watopia mountain climb. Looks like we do have a solid contingent actually of the TFC team here. It looks like in those yellow kits that you can see in the game right now. They do use a CRCA kit, as you can see, the yellow kit in game. They're matching their yellow kit that, oh yeah, you can see right here as well for in real life that they so nicely had provided, which I really appreciate. You guys showed up yesterday. But Keats here, it looks like as well. Mulder's not riding unattached. We do have, it looks like, Team Type 1 hanging out as well as Vision Cycling. Looks like we did have one just go off the back there who was hanging tough in the main front group. I think it was Backman there actually from Team Type 1 going up into 6 watts per kilogram right now, knowing he's going to be having to chase extremely hard to get back on terms with the front end of that group. I think there was some sort of a dropout or something for Mr. Backman. Looks like CS Tricks is hanging out here and he says, I predict lots of pain. What's going on, Casey Shum? Good to see you. And I'd have to agree with that. The mountain course is an extremely difficult course, and definitely there is no hiding in the mountain course. It is essentially a rollout right here, and then what do you got to the top? Everything to the top for about 20 minutes or so for these front runners usually, and all the way out to about 30 minutes of an all-out effort for others. Speaking of Mr. Casey Shum, saying that he's predicting lots of pain, I believe Mr. Casey Shum, there he is actually racing right now in the TFC race today for Team Experimental, as you can see right here. So able to chat as well at this point as they head into the climb. In the C and D category, let's go ahead and see how things are going at the front end of the C's. I believe Millward along with Stotvik and a few other TFC boys are leading things out in the C category right now, and we do have them right here as they make their way onto the left-hand turn onto the Watopia mountain as well, just a little ways behind, about 30 seconds behind that front running group. It does look like Keith D is about 6 seconds up from them, and then Catherine is about 13 seconds back from this lead lead C group, really, as quite a few Bs have made it into that front running group for the A's. It does look like the A's are starting to start their main climb out of the underground tunnel, and we have a little bit of a gap already at the 5.7 watts per kilogram or so. Van Geit here out of Belgium, 2.7 Metcalf as well, 4.3 watts per kilogram. We do have some race rules we go over for you guys today for the Friday Criterium. They have this race actually started from a group of riders that were C and D category riders that wanted something very specific to that crowd so that they could race without the interruption essentially of all the front end A's and B's. Now that things have figured itself out quite a bit with the categories they have allowed in the A and B categories, but initially it started off a long time ago before we even had the event module or anything like that, when people were just meeting up at the start banners. They wanted it not to get all mixed in, so they started up with just the C's and the D level categories, but obviously opened up to all the racers now that we do have those in-game abilities to change things up. The Primal Europe Friday Criterium Spring Race Series, though, is a series where power-ups are not allowed in these races. Any bike changes are allowed in the race, though, so it may not be fully gamified as far as the power-ups go, but you can use TT bikes and you can swap bikes during the game. So it is a race that doesn't want the RNG, the random number games of the power-ups and those advantages, but they are all about using whatever you can as far as the power that you got to make things happen out on course on any bike that you would like to use, TT bike or any other. Women will be included in their cat, and the result will be published on TFC Facebook page as a separate ladies league as well. Please note that Z-Power riders with average watts per kilogram over the duration of the race of greater than 3.99 watts per kilogram will not be eligible for cat or race wins. Riders producing over 5 watts per kilogram average will be DQ'd. They will be reinstated if a real-life matching performance can be provided. Please ensure that you check your Strava tagline. That was for the Strava tagline thing is for when you save your ride so that you are registered into the TFC results. So that is the race rules and quick little overview. It does look like we do have Van Geit up at the front here from Team TKBE. Actually, a team that we haven't seen a ton of out on course as of recently, but there is Van Geit actually in that TS Bikes kit. One of the first kits that was ever put into the game, actually. Flow Cycle up at the front here from France. A rider I haven't seen a whole lot of in these races as of recently. Looking strong, though, in the kit that the French team has adopted out on course. The Bikes and Beer kit does it nicely, representing their country flag. Metcalf now making his way to front 4.1 watts per kilogram. And we do have some live results coming at us through zwiftpower.com right now. Let's go ahead and see what we can bring up for you for the Watopia climb, one lap of the mountain today, 29.1 kilometers total. And I'm not sure where the watchers are out on course right now for Zwift Power, so we'll have to wait just a little bit to bring those in for you right now. Good to see you, Jerry Dubport, over at the Twitch feed. Nice jersey, Nathan. What's going on, Big Mac? Good to see you. And Team TFC, thanks a lot for all the tweets that you are sending out. If you would like to get your tweet sent out to our social media integration, you can do so, and we will be able to bring it right into the broadcast. I believe Team TFC just sent something out for, was this actually a pick or something? But if you want an example about how to do that, you can do so. I believe this should be bringing it. Yep, race is now live. Primal Europe, TFCS. Race on goes to Pride by Zwift Community Live. Even get a racer review with Team Experimental Racer. So let's see here. So you did 2. That's 1 of 2. So live here. So okay. So it looks like Casey is actually live. So you can go ahead and head on over to Casey's live stream and see exactly what he is up to. Let's go ahead and see if he's live on Twitch or if he is on Beam. Actually, it'd be interesting to see real quick. Kimlo says, shout out to Chris Metcalfs and Pingunu. Do you know these guys in real life, Mr. Kim Little? Hanging out here, it looks like. And we'll have to see. Did Casey make the lead group? It does look like Casey has made the lead group. 5.5 watts per kilogram so far, actually, out of the US of A. 4.2 miles in so far. And it does look like Casey is live over on Twitch. So if you would like to check out his live feed right now of the suffering that he was speaking about, we can go ahead and link his channel actually in the broadcast right now. Go ahead and give CS Tricks a There we go. That's right. CS Tricks a follow over on Twitch for any time that he does go live for his broadcast. And Burton here now 4.5 watts per kilogram, 169 beats per minute here at the front with Metcalf now 5.1 hanging on that wheel. Looks like in Quattel, they're out of Germany able to hang in there. Quentin LaFay at the back now. And this is going to be the moment, you make it initially over the bridge with this lead group. But as you can see, D. Molders as well as on the back there, Backman, who had the chase at 6 watts per kilogram for quite some time for Team Type 1, started to open up a couple of little gaps. So they hit this 6% gradient and head on into the Mountain Village here. I have a feeling this will be a moment where 1 or 2 do drop off because it is about 5 minutes in or so to the climb when they do hit this section or finish this section on course, and they do start hitting a 7 to 8% grade. Thanks for the shout out. No problem, CS Tricks. Good to see you. And it looks like Kim Little says, yes, they are mountain bikers. So Chris Meatclavs and Pinguinu are mountain bikers, actually. And it sounds that Kim Little does compete against, it sounds like. So Metcalf here, meat calves, gotcha. So Metcalf here now, 5.6 watts per kilogram at the front now, killing it. It looks like Pinguinu may have fallen off, though, from this front group. We got HIK here in the house. Good to see them coming out of the Netherlands here. Always very strong team out on Zwift, and it looks like the Rip Meester here has about 5.2 watts per kilogram to give. As there is Pinguinu, he is actually in the group still here, just hanging on the back. Yabber is off the back now with Atwell. Backman is with him. As we were saying, as they're coming through this mountain village, this is one of the hardest sections to hang on, because if you were over threshold for 5 minutes, that's what you can do just about. But over threshold for more than that, usually it's time to back it off, or you're going to give about 10 minutes or so, and then you're going to blow up and go absolutely backwards. So nice job to these boys so far, but it is time for the 5.0 pluses to make their way to the front and see what kind of a time they can get on this KOM for the Watopia Mountain today. It does look like the lead group that is forming does have Metcalf, Anquetel, Van Geit, Shum, Burton, Durham is in there. I didn't notice, but Mr. Christopher Durham, good to see him. Junior racer, actually. We've been commentating on this kid for quite some time. Good to see him out on Zwift right now, riding for the WBR. The first time that we've seen Durham in the races was during beta, actually, when WBR was Team Z, and this boy has just been getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I've actually seen a few maybe articles written on him, or at least one, in the last 6 months or so on his journey as a junior racer. So good to see him out on course here, hammering away, 196 beats per minute, hanging with the elite men at the front of this group now. Flow Cycle now, it looks like out of France, 4.8 watts per kilogram. No heart rate monitor, so cannot take the win, but out there for a good workout perhaps here. Quentin LaFay, 168, looking strong after his recovery from injury last fall. He's been involved in so many of these league groups lately. It looks like he's back on form. Rip Meester here now falling off from the HIK. Solid ride so far, but it looks like, as we said, as soon as they hit that mountain village and then kick it into this 5% gradient afterwards, it's usually the moment where the lead group really starts to get away and just follow each other. Atwell with Backman, as well as Yabber here, trying to chase down Mr. Rip Meester, who's only about 10 seconds up, but 10 seconds to close that down is absolutely huge. Looks like Metcalf could win or podium, Rogers is saying. Metcalf is UK Fat Bike Champion. Wowzers. Awesome. Very cool. So good to have him hanging out in game here. Maybe we can get him some fat tires out on course. It'd be interesting if he threw on if they had a fat bike in game. I wonder if he'd use it out on Zwift here. It looks like Metcalf now at the back though, 5.2 watts per kilogram, 173 beats per minute. Be interesting to see what kind of results he's had recently out on Zwift. We'll see if we can get an update from ZwiftPower.com. We're just waiting for it to populate the live results. I have a feeling we're going to have to wait till they come up and over the top of the mountain to get those, and then we'll get some more information for you on the past races for Mr. Metcalf. And it sounds like Kyle Augustine's in here. Good pace. This is a suffer climb rather them than me. Kyle, good to see you hanging out in the broadcast. I feel their pain. Ellen is saying it's definitely always a very, very difficult climb. We do have, it looks like in the C category though, Stockvik, who was with the leaders in the C category, now has fallen off pace just a little bit, it looks like, about 20 seconds back or so from his fellow Team TFC riders. It does look like Keith D here, as well as Catherine, a little ways up. Actually, Keith and Catherine working well together. They were not together at the start of the climb, but it looks like they have now gotten together and started working together a little bit as they're about halfway through their Watopia climb to top here. It looks like Winsper is leading things out though right now at about 3.1 watts per kilogram, 164 beats per minute, about 20 seconds up from P. Cruz as well as Stockvik. I think this is the leader in the C category currently. Cruz about 2 seconds up from Patterson. Stockvik just sticking to that wheel with Millward just a little ways back as well. Maybe these boys will get all together. It doesn't look like anybody's waiting up for anyone else though today as they make their way over the Watopia climb. It looks like every man for himself within the TFC contingent that tends to stick together in this C category. We do have a large group in the C category with Tisdale as well as Andy Beveridge. It looks like making their way through the Mountain Village. Beveridge right there on his wheel, and then it looks like Selby as well as Bergam about 4 seconds back though. So I thought there was a group here, but it does look like the gaps. Look at how big a 4-second gap is though. It's actually very a huge amount of distance actually to try and make that up. But Drew is here now chasing down Stockvik about 10 seconds back or so. It does look like the boys at the front in the A group, though, are heading into the snowy section out on course. We got Metcalf about 7 seconds back, though, from Anquetel and Van Geit. This has been a serious attack from these boys. 150 beats per minute from the German rider. Van Geit is followed very closely, 5 watts per kilogram, 166 beats per minute out of Belgium. So Metcalf, along with Burton and Pinguino now, they're going to have to close things down here. Shum just sitting on a wheel, making sure that he's keeping that heart rate as low as he can with Durham there, 5.0 watts per kilogram flow cycle, and then Quentin the Face sitting on the back, just waiting for that moment to pounce, I believe. We'll have to wait and see. Allison Duck is in the chat, it looks like, saying, go Quentin, cheering on Team Vision Cycling out there. So yeah, we'll see Rogers saying Metcalf could win or podium. We'll have to see, Rogers, how things play out. It's such an international field of riders here, very strong riders from all over the world, as we saw yesterday with that CVR race, extremely intense racing. And I think we may see something from Metcalf, and Pinguino will have to see, though, as the real life results don't always translate to an absolute win out on course, at least on the local level. We do have some top-end world riders that tend to win, though, definitely out on Zwift. So now here we do have Burton now making his way to the front here, 5.2 watts per kilogram or so. Starting to get a little bit of a gap, actually. Quentin at the back here, about a meter or two back. He's actually, if he were battling it out with Burton, would not have a draft at all, actually, as 1 second is opened up. Durham following very closely there, thinking maybe this is a moment. And a lot of times there is a kick right before they hit this little downhill section into the rackety old bridge over there that they do head over, and it does kick into 5, 6, 7% gradient before they actually hit that downhill section. A lot of times with that speed coming in, this is a moment to try and break things apart. And I would also be a little concerned with Anquetel as well as Van Geit here, being so far off the front now, 13 seconds, man. And I'd just be hanging on to Anquetel's wheel at about 5.5 plus watts per kilogram all day long at 149 beats per minute. Definitely something to watch out for. He may get a flag here in the race if he holds over 5 watts per kilogram. Might have to provide some data to the ride leaders. Usually when you're seeing the RPMs all over like that, you tend to, with lower heart rates like that, you tend to wonder what's going on. So Anquetel off the front here, still 147, maybe just beats really, really low, but maybe needs a little bit of wake-up call. We'll have to see. Van Geit's just going to let him go. It looks like 16, 17 seconds now. I would just need to let that boy go 10 watts per kilogram, 5 watts per kilogram, up into the 6.7s over and over again. So I think the rest of the boys here maybe see the writing on the wall there, and Van Geit now maybe starting to see it as well. Is going to go back to the lead group, or at least try and hold him off. Got a good gap, though, trying to follow Jay Anquetel out of Germany. Maybe a super strong rider, though. We'll just have to wait and see if he does over 5 watts per kilogram and can get some sort of a strain gauge verification from that boy. Rogers for the win. Go Durham. Mr. Beefwell, it's in meat the diet. Good to see cheering on Mr. Christopher Durham. It's hilarious how long a lot of you boys and girls have been hanging out for these broadcasts, actually, and how well you've all gotten to kind of know each other, and all of the inside jokes, though, for sure, too, that have developed over time with the freaking hackers, Mr. Beefwell and Durham here as well. Casey Shum, the Illinois State champion, actually. I'm not sure we have any inside jokes about Casey, though, that we could bring up that I can think of off the top of my head. Mr. Quentin LaFay, of course, being our Love Connection man out on course here, he's always got the info on who's going to be dating who and how, I believe, right, in the broadcast, at least for the chats. What else is going on? Also, Mr. Blue Shoes. If you need shoes for racing, you definitely need to talk to Mr. Quentin LaFay. He knows exactly what kind of shoes. Don't be surprised if they're always blue, though, as he does follow his wheel, Casey Shum's wheel there. It looks like Quentin LaFay just locked on right now. And Roger's saying domestique for everyone. I don't know any inside jokes, only Ohio. Old man Rico. Good to see you, old man Rico. And Ohio definitely is an old man, is definitely an inside joke. Old man joke. No, just kidding. It's definitely an inside joke for sure. It's been a while since we've done the Ohio bike throw out on Zwift, actually, as it started to turn into a refund and quite a few other. Cough Sandbaker Cough is his tease, Allison Duck is saying, on the Christopher Durham, I think. Or are we talking about Casey Shum? I think maybe Casey Shum is what Allison is getting at. It does look like at the front now it's all coming back together as Anquetel goes away with Chris Froome, and the others, Quintana looks like to be there with Anquetel, and I believe Nibali was able to grab onto the team car and get a little bit of assistance just to hang on to Anquetel's wheel there. So Anquetel going off the front, maybe getting the sub 19, I would think, on the Epic KOM. Today my kids got me this. It's perfect sized for the kind of sleep patterns Nathan holds on to. I'm a joke. You heard it first here, folks. Vent incoming. Old man Rico. Absolutely love your presence here, buddy. So Anquetel now kicking into 5.1 watts per kilogram, still 149 beats per minute. Looks like Durham, though, with a little bit of motivation at 196 beats per minute, looking to really turn the screws at the front before they hit the top of the Epic KOM today. So solid effort so far. Shum now just stuck to his wheel. It does look like the meat calves, Mr. Metcalf, fallen off by about 1 second. He's got to grab onto Pinguino's wheel right now. If they come over the top here and he does not have a wheel and does not get any rest when they hit the flatter section, he's just going to be at threshold still, not get any reprieve before they climb again. Pinguino here with Quentin LaFay now just hanging on. Look at the line, though, here, and that tells you how difficult the current effort is. As soon as it gets strung out like that, you know everybody is working extremely hard. We do have Durham now fading just a little bit as Burton and Shum come around him. So it does look like they will all get back on terms with Metcalf now 3 seconds back. Look like it's going to be GG for him, I believe. Casey is in the U.S. entry in the Cat 4 World Championship races. Mansky is saying everyone's live. Cat 4 can't race. Yes, Trick is saying meat calves, meat space. I don't know. In real life, Metcalf in real life is a mountain biker actually, and the UK champion on the fat bike. Actually, we were told by Mr. Kim Little himself. Too strong, it looks like, as Allison is saying. And I can tell only 9 seconds off the front now. A little surprising. Heart rate up in that 158, 157. What kind of a... I thought he was going to hold on to 30 seconds to the top here. At will, but 123 RPMs now, absolutely killing it as he gets 10 seconds over Van Geit and the rest. What is this epic KOM going to be? It looks like they threw down a 1920 flying, boys and girls, absolutely flying. We do have Burton. They probably put out around 5.0 watts per kilogram, though it's not anything insane. 1830s or so are absolutely insane. With the group, 1920 is a solid, I mean, nothing to wink at. It's definitely a crazy effort. These boys are really, really suffering. We have seen in some of the world's races and big races into the 18s, though, for the front runners at times. 17 seconds what Anquetil has. They are going to be taking this left-hand turn to the tower. And now the real pain begins. And you know that the rest of the boys at the front are going, what are you talking about? That was painful enough. At the front of the seas, we've got this interesting situation with McGregor, who's going to throw down almost a sub 20 at the front of the C category. So that's definitely not going to be an actual C category rider. As we move our way back here, we're going to try and find the front of the C category. Winsper was leading it out. He was caught, it looks like, by Mr. R. Patterson here for the watts per kilogram team now. So we do have Winsper about 2 seconds back from him. This is the battle currently for that C category. Schlang is here from the B category. It looks like Eric Schlang throwing his hat into the ring, coming out of California here in the US of A, right on the Hasty's wheel. And it looks like in the B category, we do have just a little ways up Catherine and Keith D really starting to turn the screws in this B category. But it will be Wisselsberger here at 8.3 miles in, 3.9 watts per kilogram, riding for Team PTZ with M. Brown. Mr. Brown is in the town. And all the things Mr. Brown can do. Okay, we're going to leave that one alone because it could get really weird. But I do read that book quite a few times to my kids, actually, for bedtime. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you can look up Mr. Brown with Dr. Seuss. So Quinn LaFay now maybe waiting for his moment to pounce, as you can see here, 5.3 watts per kilogram at the front in this A category, 178 beats per minute now. And James Hodges saying barely 5 words per kilogram. Slackers. I'm suffering just watching. Sister Mansky is saying 1934 CS Tricks is sane. And good to see Mike in the channel here over at Zwift Community Live's Twitch. And go Mr. Zwift blog. It looks like Eric Slane's got a few fans hanging out in the broadcast here, telling him to grab back onto that wheel. Only a little ways up. 5 seconds is the difference here currently, back with these B category riders here who are probably hanging pretty well within category limits here. It looks like Keith D and Catherine still solidly hanging together here. 129 beats per minute coming from Keith there, 136 coming from Catherine. Looks like they are holding off Creary and Hasty, Pfeffer, as well as Waters and Schlang by about 7 seconds. 177 beats per minute. Waters here 170, Pfeffer now 157, Creary now 168, and Hasty's 165. So definitely solid efforts here coming from these B category riders. We'll see if they can get back to the front. Mike Haney, KRT, saying go Eric, cheering on the Zwift blog boy here. Let's see if he can grab onto a couple of spots. I think he's sitting within the top 10 currently in the B category right now. I'm going to go ahead and see what's happening. We do have riders coming through on the riders list here for the ZwiftPower.com live results. but they have not come through for these B-boys, so we'll just have to wait for that to populate in just a minute. Again, if you would like to get in on the social media integration, you can at Z Community Live over on Twitter, or you can chat over on the Facebook. We'll be able to bring that in. We're also live over on the Twitch channels with Community Live's Twitch, twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live. If you follow us over there, you can definitely get updates anytime that we go live, pushed directly to your email as well as to your phone if you do download the Twitch app and follow us. Simon Curley doing well today. The Jaguar Team TFC is saying, cheers, Zach, 70 miles Saturday, closed roads, followed by 100 on Sunday. Whew! That sounds like a big day, Jaguar. Yeah, the team is doing amazing, Rogers is saying over there as well. The Jaguar Team TFC's Mr. Burton putting it out there. I'm being lazy, tapering for next week in real life race. So that's what he was talking about. It sounds like the Jaguar Team TFC. I'm going to be lazy today as well. I also broke my crank arm off today, last night. So that probably has something to do with why I will not be riding at least my road bike. I might jump out on the mountain bike today just to get a little loose. Before the racing happens this weekend, we actually leave for a race tomorrow out on the MTB. And Cotello here now, 6.8 watts per kilogram. I thought he'd be able to hold these boys off all day long, right along with Froome and Nairo on the front, but it doesn't look like that's going to be happening. As he throws down that 88, 80, 90 RPMs now, 144 beats per minute. Kicks it into 500, 600 watts, though, real quickly here. It looks like Quinton Lefay trying to grab back on terms. It does look like Quinton and Durham do have a gap over Burton and the rest, so it will be Van Geit, Durham, and Quinton. If they work well together, they will not see anybody else again in this race. Burton from Team TFC trying to close it down, but 8 seconds is absolutely huge gap to try and close on this section. Of course, 7 seconds now. But he does have some solid effort compared to the front runners, but there's a group of them. It's going to be very difficult to close it down unless he puts out over a watt per kilogram more than they are out on course for this duration here of the descent. Always the descents are the difficult places to make that happen. And I wonder, and we are smooth AF saying, I wonder how will Group A feel once they reach the radio tower. A little bit of chat coming from him over at the Facebook. They're definitely 184 beats per minute. I think Burton is definitely struggling at this point. Van Geit as well as Durham, though, looking, well, Durham 189 here in that Sagantuk, not looking super comfortable at this point. So definitely not feeling the greatest, I would think, just yet. But good to see a smooth AF over there at the broadcast over on the Facebook. We are seeing quite a few more comments actually come through. Don't bother with YouTube. I was chatting there the other day and no one pays attention. Yeah, we broadcast the YouTube live mainly so that there's a VOD that is held over there. So thanks for jumping over there. But the reason that we do broadcast over there is so that that we don't have to upload to the YouTube feed. That's the main reason that we do the broadcast there. Casey changed the TT bike, I am hearing. So there was a swap to the TT bike, and this could put him back in the race. He's only 42 seconds down. He didn't waste a whole lot of time doing so, and this is definitely his forte. Him and Kim Little were one of the first ones to ever do this, actually, in the races. So as you can see here, Mr. Casey, some 4.1 watts per kilogram. Flow cycle now 118 back from him. It looks like 46 seconds is what he has to make up. Putting out 4.1 all day long may actually catch him back up to the front runners. Burton, what the heck? This is amazing. Like straight up caught that group. Must have been putting out 6 watts per kilogram to grab back onto the wheels here. What an amazing effort here coming from Burton. And he was a full on 7 seconds back from this lead group, and he just threw it down to get back to these boys. Now it's a lead group of 4 who are trying to hold off the freight train, Casey Shum, on that TT bike. He's brought back 5 seconds already at 4.5 watts per kilogram, 43 miles per hour as he goes by that rock. Let's go ahead and see as they come through this section and go by this rock. 49 miles per hour is what they're holding. And Casey here, as they go, we'll see what this what the speed is. 50 already, 51. He's over, well over the kind of pace that those other boys were holding as he comes by the same rock. 53 miles per hour. So as you can see here, kicking it into 8 watts per kilogram. This may be the section though that he's going to struggle because those boys were resting up, and Casey's not going to have the same kind of orange numbers as they make their way over the top of these climbs. 17 seconds is the difference now, 7 watts per kilogram. It's going to be all about continuance over the top, holding the speed at 21 miles per hour, 23. Hold on, Casey, to those watts if he wants to catch him, and he does so at 5 watts per kilogram. He's not slowing down and is closing this gap very, very quickly. They're about halfway down the mountain at this point, resting up in the Sagan Tucks while Casey's throwing down 4 watts per kilogram, 178 beats per minute. We do see a lot of Broken Crake equals too strong coming from Allison. Thanks, too much power. Laying down the power. Awesome, Old Man Rico is saying. Old Man Rico saying, I've learned my lesson. Hard to chase a group downhill. Frank the Tank, but he made it happen there so far with Burton. We'll see if Casey can make it happen. 28 seconds is the difference. And Jerry Delport saying, how much does the TT bike help downhill? A lot, because it is a reduce on the CDA. It's a huge help. Roger's thinking Casey's going to win. I'm not sure he's going to win because even if he does catch this group, he has to go right on by them and drop them immediately. And that's going to be very difficult to do with them having a whole lot of rest in the legs, only putting out 3 watts per kilogram or so. Bike swap's okay in the series. Then I thought it was only KISS that allowed such shenanigans. Nope. In this series, it is allowed. We are seeing here now, it looks like Jerry Delport says, what is going on? Who's coming in here? Hi, how's it going? Great. Okay, it looks like we have a visitor saying she's got, you don't got a dog? What are you doing? Who's here? How are you going to fix my bike? Wilhelm is here. The master is here. Why don't you come say hi? Everybody loves you. No, come on in. You're great. Come here. They want to see Lindsay going to London. This girl going to London for the CVR World Cup. Come on, Lindsay. Come say hi. They all want to see your face. There she is. No, she's like, get away from me. I don't want to. All right, lock the door. There's too much going on outside, it sounds like. She doesn't want to come in. So, all right, we'll see her later. And Lindsay just came in. Literally, this person ducks behind me, crawls over to the window over here, and grabs the crank arm because Wilhelm is in the house. And we see you, Old Man Rico is saying that was absolutely hilarious. Go Wilhelm for the win. Scone Beanie. Lindsay for the win in London. We'll see. She did win the last one in Vegas, but we'll see if she can hold off some of the competition. I think there's going to be some serious competition in London. So we'll be definitely, she's training hard for the racing in real life. She's racing this weekend, current series leader in the Wisconsin Off-Road Series. So it's going to be an interesting weekend as well as the next couple of weeks as we head into London. It's also going to be a difficult couple of days of travel for us as we do race on the Sunday before the London event. And then we travel straight through for 18 hours. We literally leave immediately from the race, go to the airport, and jump on a plane and head right on over to the event. So it's going to be definitely some interesting, as Lindsay's just going to have to do nothing but recover leading into it. Shum, as they hit the bottom of the climb, gets right onto the wheels, and look at this, just like I said, has to go right on by 8 watts per kilogram, 40 miles per hour, 39 coming from Durham. Quentin LeFay now seeing that this may be a moment that he has to jump onto those wheels. Burton now seeing it as well. Shum, crazy effort, goes right on by 6 watts per kilogram. And as I said, being on that TT bike, it's going to be up to him to go right on by and not get draft on. A couple do grab the draft. Burton here now, 5.8 watts per kilogram, has to grab that wheel. 32 miles per hour, not going to be able to do so. As we see 31 here from Shum and the rest. Burton here now 31 as well. He's going to have to go faster. 1 second. As you can see here, is the difference. LeFay, 7 meters, 6 meters. Can they grab onto that wheel? Shum has no more left in the tank to pull them along any quicker. Big Mac CD, Big C Mac D is saying Casey about to get back on. It looks like, yep, and he did. But now that's now that he's on the TT bike, there's no longer an advantage. Besides, unless these boys just keep it slow. They keep it slow. He can hold on to 3 watts per kilogram or so, but he gets no draft. So he's not going to be able to do much with that TT bike at this point. Quentin LaFay now countering with 8 watts per kilogram, this little false flat here. It does look like he's going to try and get away early here and not want a sprint finish now, as we do see this counterattack. Durham now following very closely there with 9 watts per kilogram, grabbing onto that wheel. As you can see here, Burton now having to close that down. Maybe Quentin LaFay and Durham seeing that Burton and Van Geit we're in a spot of bother there, and Casey now a solid 4.0 watts per kilogram. Just has to set at a threshold and hope that he gets back on terms as the attacks are starting at the front end of the race. Durham now 4.2. Quentin LaFay grabbing back on the wheel. Van Geit and Burton now off the back by 3 seconds. It's going out, actually. If they can't close it now, 178 beats per minute or so, it's going to be curtains, and it might just be a battle between Quentin and Durham to the line. Friend to take saying CS Tricks may attack on the SEs. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's get back to one of our popular riders, though, in the B category. As these boys do get away, it looks like they've got 4 seconds or so. But we do have Mr. Eric Schlang himself from Zwift Block, it looks like, making his way down the mountain climb now after the initial after the Watopia climb all the way to the tower. Now he is hanging on to Waters and Pfeffer. Now Curie off the front just a little bit with Keats and Winsper 18 seconds up. Stockvik actually with a solid ride so far, but still climbing, as you can see here, with Beveridge right on his wheel. So it will be Curie, it looks like, with Pfeffer with that 4 seconds, but I'm not sure that that's going to do a whole lot for him and Tisdale, as there is definitely, Tisdale is actually still climbing, excuse me. So definitely only 4 seconds between him and Schlang. Schlang may be playing the smart card here, hanging into the wheels of the other riders and just waiting to pounce on this downhill section of the course and for a win perhaps in this B category. And James Howard is saying TT bike is significantly slower than a small group. Yes, definitely. So, and you know, it's a huge advantage on the downhill. But if you don't catch them before the finish of the downhill section and go by them, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good. So we do have some attacks here heating up, though, as they head toward the SEs now on this final section of the course. Quentin LaFay now just hanging on to the WBR. Van Geit, though, has gotten back on terms, but it looks like Burton's still 2 seconds off the back, and it looks like Shum now 11 seconds here. Maybe going to be able to catch Burton if Burton does not get back on terms with this group. 184 beats per minute, given everything he's got here. Shum now 13 seconds back, and might be able to grab one more spot out there if he is consistent enough on that TT bike. 31 miles per hour, 32 here coming for Burton. And Casey's definitely going to wrap up into 33, 34 more on this section of the course. We're going to be flying much faster, but Burton's back on terms with this group and is a lead group of 4 once again before they hit the SEs. And we're about to see the attacks open up, I think, on the finishing sections of the TFC Primal Europe TFC race today. They've already finished that Watopia climb on the mountain, and now it's time to see who's got anything left in the legs. Looks like Durham's got plenty in that 6.5 watts per kilogram, 202 beats per minute, trying to turn the screws at the front here. Seeing that all he's got is Burton on his wheel, and it does look like a good gap here between a few of the other riders. Quentin LaFay just hanging on barely, it looks like. Van Geit as well. As you can see here from the top, there's a straight line, and now Durham backs it off, seeing that it isn't going much of anywhere just yet. Van Geit with 153 has quite a bit in the tank. Looks like 177 when Burton here gonna need to rest up before they hit this next section of the course. Looks like LaFay here playing it smart. He's got 20 beats or so to work with. I know he goes into the 190s, so he is waiting for the attack through the SEs and just letting these boys throw down as much as they want to and just hold on to the wheels, playing the smart cards here. Smooth AF saying best of luck to Lindsay from my side. Thanks a lot, Smooth. Appreciate that and your comments over at the Facebook feed. The beatings will continue until you stop doing solo attacks, Allison. And yeah, it was a good attempt. Wait, what are you talking about here? Allison Duck, he means off the back this time and not like you off the front. Got it. Okay, I see what's happening here. So now Quentin LaFay following an attack from Burton here. 189 beats per minute. Van Geit now following very closely as well. his heart rate has jumped a full 20 beats very quickly there. Quick in the face, staying on terms as well, jumping into 188. Now dropping again very quickly. Durham now 205. Really on the rivet, it seems like, at this point. Burton now just hanging on at the front, 4.3. And Durham now kicking again, 204, as you can see here, beaten like a butterfly. Can he sting like a bee? No, though. We'll have to see. LaFay, though, it looks like 179 just sitting at the back, waiting for his moment to pounce now as well. Shum here, 21 seconds back, though. Will not be catching these boys, but we'll get a solid 5th place on the day. So, Durham now 4.4. Making his way to the finish line, leading things out. Now waiting a little bit, letting his heart rate drop. Doesn't want to lead things out, but doesn't want to get dropped off, as you see him kicking to 6.6, making sure nobody goes much of anywhere. Burton with a little bit of a gap. Nobody's got a draft at this point. Durham now 6 watts per kilogram, not wanting to let him go. And, you know, anybody who does go off the front at this point is almost at a complete disadvantage unless they go with big wattages, as it's going to come down to a sprint finish, it looks like, in the final few meters out on course today. They're about 1K to go to the finish line now, as they're about to take this right-hand turn. And it is Burton on the front leading things out. And they're going to be looking to rest the legs up, as you know, nobody wants to be at the very back, but at the same time, nobody wants to be on the very front. So it's going to be the cat and mouse games at this point, as Burton and Durham now 4.4, it looks like, are at the highest watts per kilogram in the group. LaFay now all the way into 1.8, really resting up now and waiting for that moment to go. The moment to go is usually as soon as they're about to hit the finish of the downhill here. I think we're going to see things open up, as you no longer get a huge benefit for drafting on the downhill at that point. Nobody jumping just yet. Anquetil now off the front will be taking the win for provisional results, and I have a feeling someone's going to go right about now, and they're waiting though still. Van Geit now 5 watts per kilogram, starting to ramp up a little bit. Durham still on the back here. Nobody's going just yet. 300 meters to go. It's going to be able to whoever jumps first now at this point, as they're waiting a long time. Quentin LaFay going at 12 watts per kilogram, but there was a gap opened up very early by Burton. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to catch him. Burton's got 11 watts per kilogram. There goes Quentin though, 15 watts per kilogram into the finish line. Looks like he is going to be able to take the W out of this group, followed by Durham, then Burton, and then Van Geit, I believe, was the finishing order. And Coutel will take the win outright, but we'll have to wait and see in the results if he was able to keep his watts per kilogram under 5.0. I think that he did. I don't think it was crazy, but there was definitely some interesting things going on with the RPMs right along with the wattages. So looking through, I did see Casey Shum come across the line, but I was not able to stick with him. So we'll get back with the front of the B category here as they make their way to the line. We do have Wisselsberger trying to chase down Backman in the A's now. And Roger saying, wow, wasn't expecting that. Good to see. It was a solid effort there from it looked like Quentin and the rest to the line. I wasn't expecting that either. I thought Burton had it with that jump. So great effort, guys. Jaguar Team TFC is saying that was a huge effort at the end there. The beating, and so it looks like we are going to be able to maybe find the next riders in the A category. Yes, we do have them sprinting it out here. It does look like Flow Cycle right along with Il Pinguino. And it looks like Flow Cycle from France will get the better of Pinguino at the line there. We do have Metcalf here, the UK, not mountain bike, but fat bike champion, making his way to the line as well, just inside of the top 10, I believe. We do have Wisselsberger here from the PTZ team there, though, in the B race, trying to chase down Mr. Brown there. These are the front runners in that B race. We also have, though, a little ways behind them, Ruff, Neil, Keith D, Catherine D, Hasty, as well as Creary here. And this is a solid group, 30 seconds back. They need to start working together at 4.0 plus all day long. They could catch to the Catherine D, Keith D watts per kilogram group if they are able to put out a solid 4.0 plus to the line. We'll have to see if they can throw that down right now. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but 30 seconds is a big ask, but they may be able to pull it off here. Curry now 3.5 at the front, 168 beats per minute, looking steady and solid. We do have the ZZRC group, it looks like, taking off from the start-finish banner right now. Good to see them out on course, hammering away. Creary, though, 10 seconds is the difference between Hasty and the Creary group. I think they will catch Hasty as long as they keep it steady here through this section of the course now. So, Matthew, having two domestiques. Rogers is saying, what are we talking about here, Rogers? Who are we talking about? Not exactly sure. So, looking through, we do see in the A category, though, Atwell and the rest of the finishers bringing their way to the line. As we do have, it looks like Atwell, Ripmeister, battling it out, HIK versus the Watt Bike boy here, Mr. Atwell. And who is going to lead it out between these boys? It does look like Atwell is making his way to the front, 5.0 watts per kilogram. HIK now resting the legs up a little bit as Atwell just ramps it up at the front now. HIK not letting it go anywhere. Atwell now kicking into 6.3 watts per kilogram. You can see it's going to be Ripmeister just being really smart about his effort now at this point, as Atwell's got 6 watts per kilogram to give. Ripmeister just waiting for his moment, it looks like, at this point, and I think that he is going to go flying on by into some orange numbers right at the last seconds. Here goes Ripmeister with Atwell trying to hang on, but Ripmeister's got that solid 11 watts per kilogram and goes right on by and grabs about a second or so. Backman here now looks like was being chased, and we lost him, so no idea where he went. As we get back to this section of the course here, where did Mr. Team Type 1 go? We'll have to leave him for the second as we are turning onto the regular Watopia course with the front runners in the B category. We do have Whistlesperger and Brown. The gap has opened up. Whistlesperger had only a second between him and Brown just a little while ago, but it looks like Brown put the afterburners on and was able to get away from Whistlesperger by about 26 seconds now at this point. So Mr. Brown here from Switzerland, with no heart rate monitor though, is going to get a relegation for not wearing that, I believe. So too bad, so sad. Van Geit now in the A category, just about to cross the line. Oh, he's just getting a cooldown. Actually restarted the game. It looks like he's 0.3 in, as I know he definitely was amongst the front runners. Whistlesperger here, 1.4 watts per kilogram, as he knows it's curtains to catch the front runner in the B category. He's going to let Brown go, as 4.2 watts per kilogram for Whistlesperger, just keeping it steady to the line. Looking through over at the social media, Christopher Durham saying, great racing by everyone tonight. My worst nightmare came true when it indicated left to the radio tower. Fantastic commentary, Nathan. See, good to see you, Christopher, over at the broadcast on Facebook. Always appreciated and always fun to watch you out there racing. Tim Keffer is saying, do you have a schedule for the future races you will be calling? Tim Keffer, we are attempting to put together a schedule, but it's usually across the board the KISS EU races, and then the KISS E-Crit as well currently that we are covering. As we are advancing the broadcast, sometimes there are some technical difficulties, and we don't like putting a schedule out as the advances are taking place. There's a lot of upgrades going on. And right now, as those are happening, we've had technical difficulties here and there where suddenly we were unable to do a broadcast with 1 hour to go. So that's the main reason that we haven't had that schedule up again, is we don't like making promises when maybe something might not go down. The best way to see when we will go live is most definitely by heading on over to our Twitch channel and asking for push notifications to your email there, as well as to your phone over there, and you'll be able to watch the broadcast anytime. If you're asking specifically for being able to race in a race that you want to have covered and be able to watch while you race it, you can just go ahead and contact us on ZCL for now, and we'll let you know. But we will have a new schedule up as soon as possible. We just need to get some things solidified as far as reliability. We just don't like making promises and not holding up to them. So we found that being more troublesome than not having a schedule out there, if that makes sense. So K-Ruff here now, 4.2 watts per kilogram. Whistlesperger now going to be coming across the line here in the B category for second place. We are going to go ahead and see what's happening over on ZwiftPower.com to see what happened with Mr. Brown. 3.3 watts per kilogram, well within category limits, so he did take the win outright in this B category race. Keithy and Catherine able to hold off maybe that chasing group. We'll have to see. Whistlesperger will be crossing the line, though, for second place out there today. I do need to move back here and see if I can find the other B category riders, as they are just about to make their way into their sprint out on course. I do have, it looks like, Mr. K-Ruff from Vision Cycling here, about 16 seconds from Keith and Catherine. So solid effort here coming from K-Ruff, 169 beats per minute coming out of the US of A. There may be a sprint, though, heating up here between the other B category riders there. Mr. Keith and Catherine here. 8 seconds, though, to Neil. So it looks like they were able to drop off our Neil, though, as Ruff is about to cross the line. Nice job to Mr. K. Ruff here. And then we'll get right back with Catherine and Keith as they're about to open up a sprint maybe between each other here. Who's going to take it at the line? Will Keith outsprint Catherine? Or is there going to be some sort of battle in the living room here between the two of them? Catherine now bumping up the 5.6 watts per kilogram, letting them know, nope, not going to happen today, buddy. And it looks like Catherine might be able to pull this off and just nips him right at the line. Now our Neil here bringing it to the line as well with Hasty about 55 seconds back. And it looks like Schlang and Waters here now trying to battle it out through the final seconds of the SEs. I'm going to move on back. This is the B category battle here, boys and girls, as Schlang and Waters were able to drop off Curry and Pfeffer, who did actually have a gap on them initially, but it looks like through the SEs they were able to open something up. Hasty just making his way to the line on that TT bike with that TT swap, but just a little ways back from them, it's going to be Mr. Eric Schlang with 10, 11 watts per kilogram to give all the way to the line here. As you can see, it's going to be a solid effort and a solid gap. Got the jump, actually. Waters had 12 watts per kilogram to give. 100 meters to go. You got to hold on here. Eric wants to give. You saw him with a little bit of a respite for a second, but was able to hold on and grab that spot out on course within the top 10, I believe, in the B category. Maybe even better than that. We'll have to see. Yeah, no, top 10 in the B category. Curry now gets the better of Pfeffer, it looks like, across the line. Jay Reeves, next one to be crossing the line, it looks like, in this B category. A whole lot of riders just hanging out at the finish line, it looks like. All done. No cool down for them as they threw down huge efforts, it looks like, out on course. Looking through here, we're going to see if we can find the front end of the C category as they're making their way to the line. It does look like we have Keats here. Our Keats now on a TT bike swap, I believe. Yep, it looks like he did make that on the Watopia downhill. But it will be our Patterson now for the watts per kilogram group, able to drop off a Winspurt in that C category with Stockvik, making the chase to him as well. And it looks like David Williams saying, what trainer is that? EVR in 8 minutes. Why not? CS Strix is saying, yay, Casey's. Be right back, 5 minutes if you've gone by then. Thanks for the stream as always, and see you soon. Go for it, CS Strix. David Williams saying, I only just got out of bed, so missed all of this race. Need something to watch. The Denton Tandem. Catherine will win if Keith has any sense. Nice work, Blogman. Mike Haney is saying. EVR is a bad idea. CS Trick says flat. Why is it a bad idea? We'll have to see what the opinion on that is coming from Mr. Casey Shum. Thinking about racing back-to-back here out on Zwift here. Patterson, he's still leading out the C category. He's got 39 seconds over Winspurt. I do not believe he is going to be caught today. For the results, then, as we wait for the rest of the C boys to bring their way to the finish line here, we have Martin Koch, it looks like, with a solid 4.6 watts per kilogram to the line. Put out a solid 450 watts, actually. That's kind of crazy. For the finish today, 450, man. Is that says he's on Z Power, actually, so I didn't realize. Was he on Z Power that whole time? I thought he was on a smart trainer, but maybe not. Quinn LaFay then for second place. I think first place then, if that was a Z Power rider then. So Quinn LaFay now 60, it looks like first place, followed by Christopher Durham, Matthew Burton, and then Corn Van Geit there for fourth, Casey Sum for fifth, Flow Cycles sixth, Pinguino, Meatcalves, Irwin, and then David Atwell. I'll run out the top 10 in that A category. For the B category, it will be Matt Brown, Norbert Wisselsberger, Kevin Ruth. Catherine D takes fourth, actually, and Keith Denton takes fifth. Catherine, the first woman across the line, so wins the women's category as well. Richard Neo, C. Hasty, and then Eric Schlang. Andy Waters and then Simon Curry rounding out that top 10 positions today. C category, it looks like Simon Pfeffer, it looks like, did take the win, actually, in that C category. Was able to go with those boys at the front, and with 2.9 watts per kilogram is within category limits, actually. So solid job to Simon there. And it looks like R. Patterson that we're watching here will be second place, followed by Winsper. Unless anything crazy happens, Winsper will be taking that third place out there today for the race. See a streak saying, I'm shot. I got trashed by bees last night. It may happen again. So he just raced. Yeah, that would explain it, Dafford Williams. So Dafford Williams saying, I tried to race back-to-back Tuesday. Second race, I got halfway up the mountain, and the bee race passed me, and they started 2 minutes later. Ouch. Tough day, but on the mountain course, man, there's just no hiding. That is for sure. No hiding whatsoever. So R. Patterson here, second place in the C category out of the Netherlands. Solid job there to R. Patterson. Winsper then 15 seconds back out of the UK will be taking that third place on the day as Patterson heads underneath that Amgen Tour California banner. And solid effort, 144 beats per minute. Not too much effort at the end here. It looks like a little battle with Winsper and just some rando out on course trying to go Rambo, but it's not going to happen with that aero power-up. Not going to matter as Winsper gets the better of him in that C category. So solid efforts all around. All right, as we wait for the a few more of the riders out here, if you don't know, make sure to check out tomorrow the E-Fondo. And we actually have a little bit of a cool little video that Mr. Jesper Anker from Zwift Community Live did put together for us, actually. So here's a little promo for tomorrow's E-Fondo if you haven't heard about it already. And we'll be back with the rest of the results for the C and the D category.
Welcome to Zwift Community Live. My name is Jesper Anker. I'm here to talk to you about this Sunday's E-Fondo powered by Cycling Tips. This Sunday, Zwifters from across the globe will line up to take on the toughest route on Zwift, better known as the Pretzel. Every rider who takes part in this epic ride will earn themselves the prestigious Cycling Tips E-Fondo kit. Additionally, Swifters from Australia and New Zealand who finish 3 or more E-Fondos will be eligible to win a VIP trip to the 2018 Tour Down Under. The inaugural E-Fondo powered by Maratona des Dolomites saw over 1,300 riders take to the start line. Sunday's E-Fondo will be split into 2 groups. Pick the group that suits your pace. And most importantly, don't forget to have fun. Ride on.
So big thanks to Jesper for putting together that little intro for the E-Fondo. If you haven't checked out the E-Fondos, they're super, super cool. Definitely something that you want to get involved in out on Zwift, as they have special kits. And then if you complete 3 E-Fondos, get a chance to win a trip actually to the Tour Down Under next year. So, and we know Zwift is almost always at those, so you'll be able to check out and be a part of something that you'll be able to meet some the Zwift tour that's going down a lot of times. They're doing all over the place all the time. So definitely something cool to check out. We do have a few coming into the line here still, it looks like, in the C category. Definitely a few that I'd like to highlight. Tisdale just coming across the line here. Then we do have Bergham and Selby. Millward is there as well. So then we do have G Howe, then 3.5 watts per kilogram, just a little ways back. CS Trick saying, wish I had raced with you last night, melted in the heat outside. Frank the Tank is saying over at the Twitch channel. So as these boys come across the line, we'll do one last look at the results. It looks like Tisdale just crossed the line just within the top 10, I believe, 6th, 7th, 8th or so, right around there in the C category. Bergham then as well coming in for a top 10. Millward just a little ways back from him in the C category race. Looks like Jay Offord is going to be making his way to the line, and T-Boyne Frankenheim, I think, is still out there on course for the women, going to be making her way to the line for the D category. That's going to be it, I believe, for our coverage today in the Friday Criterium, Primal Europe Friday Criterium race. If you are looking for replays, you can find them here on the Twitch channel, but they are also available over on our YouTube. If you're always looking for replays, over at the Twitch channel is a really easy way to find it. Twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live. Up at the top of the page where I am live, pretty much like, I think it would be right above me right about here. There's a little thing that says videos and it says 156. There's 156 replays currently available. And then you can also find all of our replays over at the YouTube channel. Etch Champion, good to see you. Good stuff, racers. Thanks for hanging out, Etch. Good to see you over at the Twitch channel for sure. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for us today. Congratulations to all the racers. Great job. Nice job to everybody who threw down a solid effort. Looks like How now at 6 watts per kilogram, battling out with Millward. Right to the line. Nice job between those two in that C category. And that'll be it for our coverage then as they cross the line. Coming up over the weekend, the eFondo, and then we will be back Monday and Tuesday for more racing and riding action, obviously. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And as always, great job to everybody, and we will see you next week. And as always, ride on.
We gonna go. Here we go. We gonna go. We gonna go. Right on. Let me ask you why you do what you do. Where you been? Where you wanna go? Do you even know how you gonna get there? Well, come along with me, and together we'll see. ones who say I'll see what I got and get what it takes and see how far I can make it. Even if I shoot for the moon and I don't quite get there, well, at least I know that I can ride my bike with no handlebars. And so can